Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're having a fantastic day. Supporting the channel can be done by leaving a like or by leaving a comment. Comment anything you want. If you have something crazy that's going through your head, let it out. Welcome back to another News I Missed, where I go over news I missed. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Nubank, that is NU Bank, one of the largest digital banks in the world, has announced it will be issuing its own cryptocurrency during the first half of 2023. I assume this will be more of a digital token than a cryptocurrency, as, say it with me, cryptocurrencies are decentralized. No one can tell you when you can and cannot use them. That is why it is a cryptocurrency. The currency, called new coin, logically, will be issued on top of Ethereum with the help of Polygon, a second layer that allows users and developers to take advantage of lower fees, and will be airdropped to all customers of the bank. Nubank, the biggest digital bank outside of Asia, revealed its plans to delve deeper into the digital economy through the issuance of its own coin. The Brazil-based institution, which also has offices across Latin America, will issue its own coin called New Coin. The token will be issued on top of Ethereum, which we just talked about. Why they write the same thing twice? The move is directed at ramping up the loyalty and benefits program of the bank. The issuance of the token is projected to happen during the first half of next year. While the company did not specify whether this token would have a market value, I assure you it will. Just logically speaking, it's more than likely going to be a stable coin. It did explain that the new coins would be useful for customers to access discount prices for Nubank's products and services. This is always a ploy by a company, by a bank, by an institution, whoever's making their own coin to make more money. You want the money to stay within your ecosystem. If you have a way to make a stable coin or something of value that allows people to continue staying on your platform to do other things, i.e., Binance's coin. If you use Binance's coin on the Binance platform, you get tons of discounts and other like savings, and your fees go down because you're using Binance coin. So this will probably be the exact same thing. You do not want people to ever leave your platform, because if they leave your platform, you end up losing money that you could have made if they stayed on your app. So I don't assume that this is going to be, once again, properly decentralized, i.e. if this is regulated, the new coin digital bank, I don't assume that you'll be able to send their coin and use their coin willy-nilly any way that you want. I assume it'll fall under the same regulatory principles as every other digital and or normal bank out there. I don't assume that this is going to have a fluctuating sense of value, because if they did that, people would also stop using it. It doesn't make a lot of sense for them to use something new on your platform that maybe only several million people are going to be using, as opposed to another cryptocurrency or something else that they can actually use that has a stable coin type of value. But Brazil news is always quite gigantic. There's a lot of Brazil news all the time in the cryptocurrency space. They are quite big into the crypto scene, as it were. So cool. I hope it works out for them. I remember years ago saying that I did not think, and still do not think, that we need a coin for everything. It just seems a little bit too much. It kind of ends up feeling bloated in a sort of way. The idea that you know, every platform you go on, everything you transact in will have its own coin, have its own value, have its own method of trading or transacting in some sort of way. And it's like things can just be completely normal like they were before. Or we could simply just use all the coins that we have now. Anyway, sometime next year, Nubank is going to be launching new coin, and I'm sure there will be new stories about it as it ends up coming out, because people like this stuff for some reason. I mentioned that before in the other video. I don't get the whole stable coin mania. A lot of people really like stable coins, and I can't and don't want to wrap my head around it. That's the Nubank news. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in the news is the Shiba trifecta, Shiba, Bone, and Leash coin can now be used to shop on Amazon and for Netflix subscriptions through the FCF Pay crypto card. FCF Pay, the Canada-based crypto payment gateway, recently announced that the FCF Pay crypto card users can now enjoy shopping on Amazon and subscribing to a wide variety of award-winning TV shows, movies, animes, documentaries, etc. on Netflix by loading their FCF Pay Visa card. There was no other name they had. FCF Pay? All the words in English. FCF Pay Visa card. With crypto. Here's a tweet for it right here. It says, load your Visa card with crypto and use that on Amazon and Netflix. And then they show how to do it. There's like a thing you can slide over and you can put money onto your card. Fantastic. So, one, I guess this would count as the Shiba Inu news of the day, because Shiba Inu, it's constantly always in the news regardless of what we want or what is actually going on. Shiba Inu makes it known that Shiba Inu is around all of us. There are thousands. I'll say thousands. I was going to say hundreds. No, probably thousands of companies around the world who have integrated or integrating cryptocurrencies. And when I talk about like you're able to basically do anything that you want with crypto, i.e. use it as a payment method or payment something in some sort of way, you usually, for like the major brands, kind of have to like go around them as far as like, hey, you can't use Shiba Inu directly on Amazon's website or on Netflix, but you can sign up for FCF Pay crypto card, and therefore you can use it in that sort of way. It's kind of the genius way that Visa maintains staying relevant, because if people can simply issue a card from a cryptocurrency exchange or a website where there is crypto, you can then essentially use that crypto to pay for other things that you want to do. So it kind of ends up making a lot of sense. That's the Shiba Inu. Bone and Leash can now be used on Amazon and Netflix through the FCF Pay crypto card news. Yeah? Let's move on. Also this was actually, I don't know if the word is popular news, but here we are. It says Bitcoin futures are now traded mostly by whales. This was said by a few analysts. It says Bitcoin futures are now being traded mostly by whales, which means that Bitcoin is likely in the middle of another accumulation phase. So years ago, when we first got Bitcoin futures, and even more so now, I'll give you like the actual like shorter version of it. People realized that Bitcoin futures were being used to manipulate the price of Bitcoin. Seemingly out of nowhere, we started getting news all the time that the reason why Bitcoin moved up or down, this was 2018, 2019, and the beginning of 2020, was because of Bitcoin futures, i.e., Bitcoin's price is at 20,000. The futures are showing that at the end of the expiry date on a Friday, Bitcoin is at 15,000. Remember the whole like fill in the gap? We kept on getting that. We had to fill in the gap for no actual reason. The entire idea being that whales were constantly trading Bitcoin futures and they were dictating where Bitcoin's price had to go. Why these 25 people who were, what was it? It was there we go. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME, and there was another big futures that ended up collapsing as well. These were the people who were basically trading the Bitcoin futures and were telling everyone else that until they decided that the futures, you must remember this, that the futures prices were going to go up. Only at that point would Bitcoin's price go up as well. So the fact that only whales are trading it, also, this is how it was designed. For those of you who don't remember, the futures trading products were basically made so that you had to buy 5 or 10 contracts at a time. A contract usually consisted of an entire or like 5 Bitcoin, the value of at one time. How many people do you know can trade in one trade $100,000 to $1 million on a Bitcoin future? Right, exactly. Probably not many. I'm sure someone out there knows someone who could. Congratulations that you have a very rich friend. But for everyone else out there, right, it seems completely illogical especially for a situation like that. So yeah, of course, we have discussed for years now that Bitcoin's price is manipulated, and I'm not surprised that the futures market is now consisting just of people who are trying to bring Bitcoin's price down or benefit from it in any other way, because the only people who would not be doing that are actual people who understand that they would not or should not be trading in the US dollar anymore. The entire idea of futures is to like short Bitcoin, to go against Bitcoin's price, to say that Bitcoin is going to do terrible so that they can profit from the actual shorting. So is anyone surprised that it's just whales doing this? No, probably not. All right. That's the Bitcoin futures news. You weren't expecting that one. There was not one person out there who was like, I can't wait for some Bitcoin futures news. There you go. You got it. All right. Let's move on. In one of the most intense stories, I'll say of the month, there's a lot of controversy in something that should not be controversial. And I say that because remember the thousands of times that I've mentioned that the rich only care about the rich? That's kind of what ends up happening. Long story short, this guy on the screen, Sam Bankman-Fried, or Fried, depending on how you want to pronounce his last name, he's the CEO of FTX. FTX is this up-and-coming crypto exchange that everyone seemingly out of nowhere became completely obsessed with. I mean, like, actually overnight. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think they're doing anything more spectacular than Binance, Coinbase, or Kraken. But alas, here we are. So apparently what happened is that we are on the cusp of some type of cryptocurrency regulatory paperwork, something in the United States. Do I think it's going to happen? No, the US is far behind because the SEC has no intention of giving actual regulation. Sam Bankman-Fried decided at some point that he was going to opt in and going to announce how he thinks that things should actually be running with the cryptocurrency space. Today's topic was regulation, or more specifically, Sam's views on what industry standards for crypto regulation should look like. Last night, the FTX boss published a lengthy document weighing in on everything from sanctions to stablecoins and much more in between. A lot of what Sam proposes is fairly sensible. Sure, why not? Talking about customer funds and how to figure out white hat resolutions. He also provided a compelling case for tokenized securities, explaining how the current clearinghouse architecture disadvantages investors and perpetuates unnecessary counterparty risk compared to blockchain solutions. However, on some topics, Sam's regulatory musings, they didn't ruffle feathers. He threw the chicken out of the window because people were a little upset. With other industry figureheads, Sam appears to take a capitulatory approach regarding sanctions and anti-money laundering procedures, advocating for widely circulated block lists of sanction addresses depicted or dictated by government agencies like the OFAC. The idea being, if you did something wrong, I'm air quoting there, or if a government body assumes that you've done something wrong or thinks that you've done something wrong, or if you have a record of some sort of whatever the case might be, the advocation then comes down to, well, yeah, we should stop those addresses from being able to transact in crypto. Do you remember the original idea of crypto? Part of the problem, no, one of the main problems in the cryptocurrency space is that people don't understand what crypto is for. You have been tricked and lied to by so many other people, and also you've been lured into the idea of crypto simply making you rich, that you don't actually care what happens with regulations. I'm sure someone is like, yep, I don't care, I want to make money. Part of the problem is that you don't understand that the old system is desperately simply trying to crush any idea of what crypto actually is. Bitcoin is meant to be a currency for everyone, by everyone. I don't give a crap if you don't like Bitcoin, just use Bitcoin as the actual name. The idea is There is a system right now that you and anyone else of the 8 billion people on the planet can use at will, whenever they want, however they want. We've been told since we were little, the only way that the system works is, remember little piggy banks that used to get, you had to like smash them open, and your parents took you to a bank and they said he wants to open up his own account. The idea is that we always have to custody our money with someone else. They dictate when we can and cannot use our own money. A lot of people didn't really understand that this was an actual thing until 2008, 2009, when people began to run on the bank, have a bank run, and try to get their money out, and they were told, I'm sorry, it's the bank's property. You hold it with us, and while we hold it, it is essentially ours. Have you ever had a situation before where you try to close an account and you have a good chunk of money inside of it? What does the bank tell you? They'll tell you no, or you have to talk to a representative, or can you come back another day? It's happened to me a couple times. They won't let you do it, or they give you a lot of problems because it's essentially their money. They want all the money to remain inside of the bank and to remain with them. The idea of anti-money laundering or KYC and all these other things is used to scare you. The idea is it's been estimated that roughly 0.1%, that is to say a tenth of 1% of the population at any given point of people on the planet are up to something scrupulous or evil or whatever words they try to throw at you. And this is usually where we get the idea, well, they're using this money for some type of illicit practice. That's sure, why not? There are definitely going to be people on the planet who are doing that. But the other 99.9% of people then also have to fall under those regulations as well for the 0.1% of people who may actually be doing something wrong. Also, this can be misconstrued in a number of ways. Remember, I told you years ago the idea of dirty coins? Well, here we go again. In the cryptocurrency space, a lot of people a couple of years ago, because of government intervention, began to invent the idea of a dirty Bitcoin. The idea is, let's say the first Bitcoin gets created, and then you're holding on to it. At some point, you hand it to Sally. Sally hands it to Mary. Mary hands it back to Amazon. Amazon hands it back to another store. You hand it back to another friend. It keeps passing through hands over the course of a 5, 6, 7 year period. There are tens of thousands of transactions attached to that one Bitcoin. Tens of thousands. At some point, there was one transaction that the US government did not like. They said it looks like it might have touched hands digitally to this person who was selling something online that we said that they could not sell. At that point, every other transaction after that becomes suspicious. And because you are holding onto that coin, if you try to take that coin and put it onto Coinbase or put it onto Kraken or put it onto Gemini, sometimes, and this still happens, your coin gets restricted or sent back to you. And it's simply told, we cannot custody your coin. Why? Because at some point, the US government or other governments around the world blacklisted one address that they believed did something wrong, and every other address that has touched that coin since and has not gone to a regulated cryptocurrency exchange is seen as bad or dirty or evil. So the idea that he would be okay with allowing people or any type of body at all to stop transactions on a network that is meant to be decentralized, that everyone is allowed to use at their own bidding anytime that they want, is nonsensical. The problem is, for those of you who have not watched, and he's been on like a really weird like publicity campaign recently. I've been seeing a lot about this guy and how amazing he is and how he came from nearly nothing. They all had money in the beginning, and you know, the humble photos of him having short hair and laughing with his friends. It's always the same kind of story that they throw out there. And now he's a multi-billionaire. This is one of the largest crypto exchanges on the planet. Rich people only care about other people, other rich people. And I'll give you even more logic to that. These people get so rich that they can't avoid regulations anymore. They put themselves in a position where they know that they are rich enough that they never, ever, essentially have to ever work again. Them and the next 25 generations of their family line are basically minted. They are set for life. There's nothing that will ever really make them poor ever again. So they know that, in essence, they can't say no to regulators. They can't say anything that'll mess up their future. So this is kind of what they become. I don't know this guy. This isn't my story. I'm just going off of what I've been seeing online. A lot of people are very upset at what he said, and it makes a lot of sense. The issue, once again, is people in crypto, 99% of people in crypto don't care, because humans, for some reason, constantly only care about themselves. I don't care about the next guy because I'm trying to get rich. And then once you're rich enough, you end up stepping on other people, and people go, what happened to that guy? Why did he change so much? The idea of a cryptocurrency is something that is decentralized. No one owns the network. It is owned by everyone. You can start a node. You can begin to validate transactions at will, however you want, on your own accord. No one can stop Bitcoin, and no one should stop Bitcoin. That's the idea of a 51% attack in centralization. It's bad for the network and it's bad for the system because these coins are meant to be used by everyone. The idea is there are so many countries around the world where banks don't have actual branches because banks don't like poor people. You need to understand that. There are billions of people on the planet right now who are not a part of the same financial system that we are. Billions of people. This has happened on purpose. These people are deemed to be too poor and therefore should not be part of the system. This is why we have Bitcoin, because everyone is allowed to enter the network without any door. There's no frame there. It is wide open for everyone to be able to get into it. As we get more and more regulation into the space, the space is already incredibly corrupted. A lot of people don't understand that already. This is why the entire idea of a security is also nonsensical. The idea of a security in the cryptocurrency space is meant to just get things under control. They want everything to be under the same exact blanket as the old system. The old system is old because it's old. It's terrible. It doesn't work. It takes days and weeks for you to send money. If you are trying to buy a house, you were told, where is this money moving to? Where did you get this much money from? How do you have this much money? Why are you trying to take it out? You are controlled at every single step of every single thing that you do. This is why we have Bitcoin. Remember when I kept mentioning before, and I'll keep doing it again, every time that there's a gigantic company, I do it here and on Money Rules. I say, welcome to another edition of rich people are buying up all the stuff that you could have bought before, because rich people now have essentially control of Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the other coins. They control the market. They move and sway it as they so wish, because the billions of people on the planet who could have gotten into the market, they didn't want to, because years ago you were screaming at them because you called them stupid. You called them losers. You called them idiots. Get into my coin. My coin is better. There's so much internal fighting in the cryptocurrency space. It's easy for regulators to do whatever they want. All they have to do is simply announce that something is a security, something's not compliant, something's not working out, and they can scare you and say, well, that money was used for something illicit. Do you want to get in trouble as well? No one pays attention to how the world completely corrupts everything and everyone around it. So it's not surprising to me at all that this man said all of these things. I don't agree with him or side with him at all, because I do believe in essence that everyone should be a part of a monetary system, one that is free, one that allows you to send money across borders to feed your family, to feed your grandmother. Why should you have to stand in line and go to a MoneyGram or a Western Union and pay $25 to send them $100 just so they can go eat? It doesn't make any sense. So, one of the major news stories is that a lot of people were very upset. They didn't like what he said and yada, yada, bone. So, you know how I mentioned always, but I keep saying these things like, get it, just understand my English words. When you talk about a crypto, years ago, I remember there was somebody tried taking money out of Coinbase, something happened and they weren't allowed to do so. And people were like, I don't understand. What about decentralization? These aren't decentralized entities. They are centralized. They are cryptocurrency exchanges who have a centralized, they have a CEO, they have an owner, they have a main frame, if you will. They are centralized. That's why people are trying to create decentralized exchanges or DeFi platforms, and they keep failing and falling apart because I'm telling all of you over and over, they are not proper DeFi. There is no CEO of a decentralized anything. It doesn't make any sense. That means that there's a figurehead or the head of the dragon that can be cut off, and therefore the coin's project completely collapses. Why do you think so many DeFi projects have been failing? Because the SEC found where their office was and said, hey, you guys are in trouble. And then they shut off they shut off the pipe. You can't get your money out. Money gets frozen inside of it, or they simply disappear. No one understands what it means to be decentralized. So few people in crypto actually understand what it means to be a part of a gigantic system. Do you understand what Bitcoin is? 13 years ago, somebody created something that completely wiped out everything that had been building for 4, 5, 7,000 years before that. Since people were trading seashells. Since there was a building that said, hey, we own the seashells. You have to take out a seashell from us. That's why it's so significant. And so few people understand that. It's just constant internal fighting about, well, my coin is better. Well, Aptos is totally going to take down Solana, which was supposed to take down Ethereum, which was supposed to take down Bitcoin. It's the same thing. No one actually cares anymore. It's so sad. The reason why I got into crypto is because we have this system. We have the means to be able to completely obliterate the old system. To have 8 billion people on the planet be part of a financial system that is completely inclusive, that no one can tell them no about. You can use it for whatever you want. You can use it privately. You don't have to have your name and everything attached to it. That's why every time the regulators continue to creep in, I'm telling everyone, this is just the new norm. This is just what's happening now, because everyone has forgotten the entire idea of it. So anyway, yeah, Sam said some things. A lot of people, and it's not even that they were unhappy, people were raging online. What don't you understand about these people don't care about you? Why do you keep putting these people on your shoulders and talking about how amazing they are? They only care about themselves. How many times do you have to hear that? How many billionaires who kept on getting into crypto this year and last year, who were spitting in our faces since 2014, do you need to understand everything that's taking place? And the saddest part, as always, is these people now own more Bitcoin than you do. They own more crypto than you do because they told you not to get into it years ago when prices were dirt cheap. When Bitcoin was $1, you were told not to get into Bitcoin. And now we get news. Yeah, I own a couple thousand Bitcoin. Yeah, me and my company, we own 28,000, 140,000 Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes to $1 million, these people continue to rule the world. Even now, other countries are still continuously telling their citizens, no, Bitcoin's very evil. Bitcoin's very dirty. No. We have no idea regulatorily. They're lying outright to their citizens all the time, and people keep falling for it. And they'll continue falling for it. Because all it takes is for a regulator to come out of nowhere, say that something is scary, throw a bunch of paperwork at someone, and then the price goes down. And then we lose it once again. Over and over, it keeps happening. Can you imagine someone creating 13 years ago something that frees us economically from banks? And then we're back exactly where we started. With banks buying Bitcoin, banks owning Bitcoin, banks mining Bitcoin. And then having the nerve to tell you what you can and can't do with your Bitcoin that was made for you. Am I surprised? No. He's a businessman. He's worth billions, and he's trying to be worth hundreds of billions of dollars. And he's probably going to get there. Yeah, not really much more to say on that one. Just more of a, that was all in my mind. It continues to be in my mind. No one gets it. No one understands what's happening anymore. We are basically at exactly where we started back in 2007, 2008. We gave control once again to the people who had control before. Now they're doing whatever they want. Anyway, that's the regulation news. Yeah. Moving along. Right. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all have a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Hope you get it eventually. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, and or subscribing. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.